Hello everyone and welcome back. In the previous video we started our BC project, the current one. We created our main, we created our header, made a simple Makefile with some special C flags for good practices. I hope it will be a memory safe and clear C program by the end. And we implemented our first functions for printing error messages. In this video, we will start with structs. We will make some vector structs for our tokens and IPNs. Then we will put them in the lexer. So let's start. Let's start with the first dynamic array. Type def struct. My BC is not correct. Struct as rec. Okay, this will be our tiny dynamic array, which will be type agnostic. It will have a minimal vector utility to avoid external dependencies. It will be very simple, and it will grow by doubling capacity, basically. So our first variable is data, which will be just raw bytes. We will have a size t of size, which will be for the element count. We will have a size t of capacity, which is called cap. Allocated capacity in elements, basically. And we will have our size t lm, which will be the size of elements, or basically size of element, yeah. And we will call this t vector, and basically this will help us create our first tokens, but let's add includes std. What is going on? Include std int.h. Going back to the main function, I will now create my first vector, which is tvec, and let's create two of them at the same time, IPN. At this point, I think IPN will be waiting us. So I don't want to get errors. I will just hit wait. And now we will need to make an initializer function to initialize our vectors. And we will fill whatever is in the tvec. Tvec is the problem I'm missing. I don't know why this is showing me over here. Yeah, nothing, no problem. So I think now we can create our first initializer. For that, I will create a new C file. I will call it dynamic array.c. Let's copy the name and put it in Makefile before we forget again. Source dynamic array.c. Okay, it's in Makefile. I didn't forget this time. We can also close that. In the dynamic array, we will of course start by including our header file, and our first function here will be called vec init, and we will use it to initialize our vectors. First, we will give it the vector, and we will give it size of the elements. In our v vector, data will be null as initialized. Okay, let's add std_lib.h standard library we will use. It's good for now. In our v vector, let's add the size, which will be 0 as initialized. The cap will be 0 initializer. And what we have next? We have element will be 0 initializer. Oh, sorry, it will be the element size. That's why we have the parameter, and then we will be returning 0. So we have data size cap element. Data size cap element. Okay, this should be fine. And now I can say in the main, like in it, I cannot say in the main yet. Let's put this in the header first. After this will be our first helper. So we have one function for initializing. Let's make one more quickly for freeing them. Again, this will be same as the previous one. Almost. This time we don't need the size, and we will just say free v data, and others will be just going to be null and 0. I can just copy it actually, and this will also be 0. So we have vector initializer and vector failure, and this is good. Okay, before initializing our vectors, we need to have the tokens first, because we will creating our tokens in that sense. So I am back in my header file. I am just saying type def enum e tok type. We will have, this will be our token type. We will keep precedence and association with operator tokens. We will also have unarray minus and unarray minus represented by distinct operations, but that's okay. So let's first say tok int, which will be our integer literal. Int literal. We will have token operator plus minus asterisk division modulus. This will be unarray minus and one more operator, which will be unarray plus, which we will come back to this later. Then we will have our L paren, which means literally the left parenthesis. And then we will have token right paren, and which will mean, of course, right parenthesis. And this will be all. Let's call it T token type. And then we will have another type def, which again an enum e associate. And again, we will have assoc left and assoc right, which we will also be calling t assoc. And one more struct type def struct. This time it will be called as token. And in this time we will have our token type as a type. We will have long eval, which will be valid when type is token integer, and we will have a char op. Of course, it will be operator char, which one of these, and we have an integer for prec. It's for precedence. We talked about this on the previous videos, but I will come back to later, explain again. We will have, I will come back to later for a better explanation. T assoc will be assoc, and if precedence is plus, it will be right associated, or then like left association. We will come back to this, like I said, later. So let me just name them for now, and we will continue working on them. Okay, now we have our tokens created. Let's go back to the main. And finally, we can call our initializer. And when we want to initialize our vectors, like we said, we will give address to the tokens. And plus, it will ask for size of something, if you remember vector initializer, element size. And of course, this size we need will be coming from the T token. That's what we just created. T token is struct for tokens, and it will have the type of the token, and it will have the other places we will need to fill, but later. We initialize our vectors. Let's also initialize the RPNs, which is quite the same. We will give it size of T token again. And then we can remove it. And after initializing here, I noticed 2 errors. Let's fix them quickly. This needs to be void. We're not returning anything, and void should be enough. And here I named this token type, but this is token type, not a big deal, but it is better if they're all token types. And that's all. We can finally start in the next step, which will be lexing.